What's up, Totem Pole Nation? This is Lambo and Matt's World of Sports. We are getting into Texas Tech's. Damn, that is a tongue twister. Recruiting class today, the Red Raiders. This is episode 27 of our recruiting trail. Love doing it. It's super fun. Thank you to Sideline Sports Network. As always, like, comment, subscribe. If you want some merch to support the boys, TotemPoleNation.com. It's in the ticker. Let's get into it.
All right, Texas Tech football. Texas Tech football. They're ranked number 22 in recruiting. They have 20 commits in total, 1 5-star recruit, 4 4-star recruits, and they have 14 3-stars. Go ahead and explain what Texas Tech can improve on. Now, they started off the season pretty fast, but they still a little struggles, but they have a second-year head coach that they're improving on. How can Texas Tech be the face of the Big 12? I'm not sure if they're moving conferences as well, but how can they be the face of the weak Big 12 conference?
Well, the Big 12 is just going to get stronger and stronger, so they're going to need to continue to have recruiting classes like this. Like you said, they're 22nd, and based on what I've seen with the depth chart, the wide receiver room is only losing 4 guys amongst the entirety of the depth chart, but it's mostly made up of juniors. So they're going to need to get some young guys in there pretty soon. Anyways, 4 out of the 5 starters on the offensive line are leaving, and there's 1 sub behind them that's also leaving. They're losing 2 of their 4 tight ends on the depth chart. QB room is fine. They're losing 1 of the 2 running backs that are listed right now, and 9 out of the 11 starters on defense will be gone, as well as 3 second-teamers. In addition to that, they do have youth, sprinkled around the depth chart at some positions, but I mean, they're, like I just said, 9 of their 11 starters on defense are gone. I don't care how much youth is sprinkled in there. You're going to need some new guys to fill those gaps pretty soon. I'm going to get into their top 5 recruits, starting off with their 5-star wide receiver, Micah Hudson, 6 foot 190 from Lake Belton High School in Temple, Texas. He is the 15th ranked player nationally, the 4th wide receiver in the country, and the number 2 player in the state of Texas. He's a Max Prep second-team All-American and a Texas 4-5A Division I overall MVP. So this is a dog at the wide receiver spot, obviously. Next up, 4-star offensive tackle, 6'7", 275, Ellis Davis. Proper high school, proper Texas, proper offensive tackle. This dude is a monster. He looks, to be 275 and look like this guy. He looks like he could be coming off the edge. He looks like he could be a tight end. But no, he's an offensive tackle. So maybe he gets a little wider, but this dude is athletic as hell. He's the 202nd ranked player nationally, the 20th tackle in the country, and the 33rd player in Texas. He can play every single spot of the O-line, and he's looked great against the 6A competition in Texas, which is obviously the highest spot. That's what gets the most comparisons to Power 5 football. He's looked great amongst that competition. So, that's a great addition to this team. Next up, 4-star edge, 6'3.5", 215-pound, Cheta Ofili from Sachse High School in Sachse, Texas. Excuse me if I pronounced that wrong. It's the first time seeing that word in my life. 233rd ranked player nationally, 17th ranked edge, and the 37th ranked player in Texas. He throws and sprints in track and field as well, so he's got the strength to throw shot put. He's got the speed to run the 200. That's a pretty good guy to have coming off the edge at 6'3.5" as well. Next up is a quarterback, 4 stars from the Elite 11 roster, Will Hammond, 6'1.5", 190 from Hutto High School in Hutto, Texas, 246th ranked player nationally, 14th ranked quarterback, and the 39th ranked player in the state of Texas, like I mentioned. And like you can see in this picture, he is on the Elite 11 roster, or was on the Elite 11 roster. So regardless of being the 14th QB in the country, he was seen as top 11 by these guys. Next up, 4-star safety, Peyton Morgan, who is not on the slideshow. That is stupid. My fault, guys. 4-star safety, 6'1", 175 from Weiss High School in Pflugerville, Texas. He's the 247th ranked player nationally, 23rd ranked safety, and the 40th ranked player in the state of Texas. And all 20 of their commits are from the state of Texas. I just mentioned in the last video, and I mention it in every recruiting trail video we do, how important the in-state recruiting is, especially when you're in Texas, which is one of the most talented states in the country. You can stack them up against California, Georgia, and Florida as maybe the only competitors, but Texas is, I think, the deepest and the most talented in the country. And when you have 20 of your guys, all 20 of your guys from Texas, you're looking right. If they can work their way up to more the top 20 to 25 guys consistently, obviously they have the number 2 player, but most of the other guys are in the 30 to 50 range, which in Texas would land them in the top 15 in most other states. But, to be a contender in what the new Big 12 will be with all these schools coming in, they're going to need to get a little bit higher up in the Texas recruiting. But like I mentioned, there's no negatives with having an all Texas recruiting class. They're picking up 5 DBs and 3 D linemen. Like I mentioned, their defense is losing 9 of their 11 starters. So 5 DBs, 3 D linemen, 2 of those guys being 4 stars and the rest being 3 stars. So maybe not immediate contribution, but adds depth, adds some beef to that defense. They're also picking up 4 offensive linemen, the 1 4-star that I mentioned above, earlier, and then also 3 3-stars. So Texas Tech, Big 12 football is going to get a lot tougher in the coming years. So I like the direction in this recruiting class. They're obviously going to have to hit the transfer portal for a few things, but the homegrown Texas recruits, I think, are going to take care of business here.
I've witnessed it firsthand. Lived in Texas for 2 years. Texas is big for football. They bring in everybody. But also, I'm not saying it's easier for Texas Tech next year, despite you saying the Big 12 being competitive. But just remember, Oklahoma and Texas are leaving the Big 12 for the SEC. So they might get a little bit more popularity in the Big 12 since you have Oklahoma and Texas leaving for the SEC next year. So Texas Tech, hopefully they can do something. But, we'll see how this goes. But I'm all about consistency in this one. Go ahead.
So the Big 12 next year will have Arizona State, Baylor, BYU, UCF, Cincinnati, Colorado, Houston, Iowa State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, TCU, Texas Tech, Utah, and West Virginia. So
Utah. Utah in the Big 12. Colorado would get better next year. The only
teams that are missing going to be good. TCU is going to get better. Like the Big 12 is not, and Arizona, we've seen them be good. They're ranked right now. Arizona State has played well this year. Cincinnati is, maybe not back to where they were, but they're still not someone you want to sleep on. So the Big 12 is definitely, as they are losing their top 2 guys for sure. They're losing basically, the 2 moneymakers of the Big 12 when it comes to, Oklahoma and Texas. But at the same time, they are bringing in very good Pac-12 schools. So Texas Tech, it's not going to just be like a walk in the park with those 2 guys leaving, because the guys coming in are pretty tough too.
All right, I do agree. Now, next Lambo and Matt's World of Sports is top 5 teams after week 9. Now, the list might be the same. The list might be different, because I had to come on here last week and said it was the worst list in America. I don't know what he was thinking, but there's going to be some change in this list. Don't forget to subscribe to Total Pole Nation. All right? You need your merch. You go to TotalPoleNation.com. We appreciate Sideline Sports Network for giving us this platform. But in the next 5 minutes, a must-watch episode of Top 5 Teams after Week 9. Not in the future. After Week 9. Y'all have a great day. Please take care of yourselves and enjoy the rest of your night.